Happy Monday to you. It's a Reaction Monday, and it is a jam-packed, wild, and crazy Reaction Monday. Got to be honest, it's going to be difficult to fit it all in. Jacob Albrecht here alongside Tommy Castor. Jad Chambers producing. All right, so we obviously have Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. We've got some KU basketball. Time for concern, as they have just an absolutely awful week, to be quite honest with you. Tons of movement with the KU football program. K-State's going bowling. We have the details there. We'll have Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Wildcats, in next segment to discuss that destination for us. We will also get into all the other things happening around the sports world and around our sports world. We have Drew McIntyre, WWE superstar, ahead of their Monday Night Raw appearance. That's tonight. Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre's in town. He's going to swing by the studio there. And we'll talk to him for a little bit coming up in the next hour. Looking forward to that. We're going to give you away all kinds of things today. We've got a chance to win some vouchers to Illuminations at Botanica coming today. We have your chance to win tickets to the PBR, Professional Bull Riders, coming to Wichita later in the season. That's coming up today. We'll give you a chance to win some HTO today. We have all kinds of good stuff. Juan Soto signs a mega deal. I don't know if we'll be able to get to this today, but all I can say is, Royals fans, you'd be very thankful that they got the deal done with Bobby Witt Jr., because that Juan Soto deal is insane for a young player. Very comparable player, quite frankly. So we'll get into all of these things. We'll get to as many of them, I should say, as we can. Tommy, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I know we're going to start talking Chiefs for sure, but there is so much to get to today.
Yeah.
Two guests on the show, all of the news in college football, the CFP.
Oh, yes, CFP. We will get to that today.
There's so much, KU basketball has lost 2 games in a row now. They lost to Missouri on the road yesterday. There is a lot to get to on the show today.
Yeah, and the CFP we will for sure make time for. Jad Chambers is producing. Glad to have Jad back in the booth for us. He's manning that IHOP hotline. The IHOP hotline brought to you by IHOP, official breakfast partner of Xbox. Come in and try our decadent, fully loaded French toast only at IHOP. 869-1240 is that number. You can leave us your video comments on our streams, which you'll find on 12 News Connected, on Facebook, YouTube, X, all kinds of different ways to get in the program. And, of course, you can download the show and listen to it whenever you'd want on our podcast, which we know a lot of you do. So thank you to those doing that. Tommy, the Chiefs last night, same old, same old. I tweeted we'll never see anything like this again. I don't think that we will. A 12-1 team winning so many games in this way, that just does not happen in the NFL. It is crazy that they keep doing it. I do think, as we can start with some positives, because I know we're both annoyed at some things too. I do think it continues to highlight something that is being overlooked in the national narrative about all of this, and that the Chiefs' greatest strength, the number one thing that makes them great, is their ability to win these games this way. And I don't think that should be overlooked probably the way that it is being overlooked, as we're going to dissect this thing, in detail. But they continue to be able to do this at the end of games, Broncos game notwithstanding, right? That was obviously the biggest fluke of all the flukes. But they continue to be able to do this late in a game. So that matters, and it is important. As on a day we see the Bills lose and the Eagles struggle against the Panthers and all these different things that we see, that stuff matters. The Chiefs find a way to do it. Now, are they doing it to the best of their ability? I do not believe that they are. I know you don't believe that they are. I do think what they can, what is ailing them at the moment, Tommy, is fixable. Humphreys was not good, but he looked better. That's incredible news, right? He looked better. Now, Mahomes
I mean, we'll
It-
see if that lingers on. He's got a
yeah.
hamstring.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about that. But Mahomes was under siege again. And the most maddening thing about that game is the Chiefs' lack of a commitment to the run game up until the final 2 drives. And look what happens in the final 2 drives. They take control of the narrative of the game because they start to run the ball. Isaiah Pacheco looks like a maniac out there right now. That man is possessed. Give him the ball. They did in the final 2 drives. We were joking that they would not do it. They did it in the opening drive, and then they just stopped like they have been. They did give it back to him in the final 2 drives, and it paid off. So, that is the cure to the Chiefs offense. You have to run the ball now because Mahomes is going to die out there if you don't.
You mentioned how the Chiefs had this ability to win these games. 10 of their 12 games have been decided by 7, or 10 of their 12 wins have been decided by 7 points or fewer. The singular reason for that is because of number 15. It's because of Patrick Mahomes. And, he is the only athlete in the world today. And I can think of, gosh, maybe one other guy, and that's probably Michael Jordan, who can just say, you know what? Screw everything else. I'm just going to go win the game on my own. I'm going to go take care of things on my own. That jump pass that Mahomes had to get the first down in the fourth quarter to keep the drive alive for Kansas City. That was incredible. He took off on a couple of runs. I mean, he basically just, possesses, and we've known this for a long time. He possesses that ability to just say, F it, I'm going to go get it done myself if I can't get help from anybody else, or, if I can't get the play calling that I needed. It's funny because Andy Reid going into halftime was asked on the sideline by Melissa Stark what was working for them going into the half. And Andy Reid said, well, we did really good when it was no huddle. Okay, so when Mahomes got a chance to call the plays, it went really well when he was, at the line of scrimmage, figuring out what he wanted to do and not relying on what the play calling was from the sidelines. So, that's really, if you really want to narrow down that overall narrative that's being missed about how they're winning these close games, Patrick Mahomes is winning these close games. He's putting everything on his shoulders and he's getting it done himself. He is under siege, though, and we've seen that all season long. It's maddening that for the largest portion of the game, they were not running the football. They were not playing complementary football. It happens week in and week out. And ultimately, it becomes super predictable where, even on first down, even on like a, second and whatever it is, they're going to throw the football and there's no offensive line protection. He's under siege, under attack. The defense knows that, and they don't do anything to try to change that. So that's maddening. But at the end of the day, yeah, they're getting the wins.
Rick says that, Humphrey shouldn't have played. He wasn't in shape yet, and he was not better. He allowed a 20% pressure rate. I think he looked better. Now, that doesn't mean he looked good. Don't misunderstand.
The bar is very low.
I'm not saying DJ Humphries came in and solved everything. He was still not good, but he was less not good than Morris and Suamataia have been, to me anyway. It looked like they had more of a chance on that side at least. Now, it's not perfect, but we're trying to split hairs here. But again, run the ball, and that matters far less. And they did. They're 12-1. They're 12-1 in the NFL. They are 12-1 with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. And if you're going to call him MJ, mention is Scottie Pippen, I think, and Travis Kelce, because on that final critical play, looky there. That dynamic exists just like it did a year ago. And you can combine it with Andy Reid too. But, it's insanity to let Mahomes go through what he's going through. It would be one thing, Tommy, if the Chiefs couldn't run the ball. Okay. It'd be one thing if it was just like a waste of time, but we all know that's not the case. The strength of the offense is the interior line, and they just got Pacheco back, and Pacheco looks great.
Yeah. How
right
in the
now.
world does it make sense that Isaiah Pacheco goes down with an injury earlier in the season? They bring in Kareem Hunt. They give him the ball 20 plus times a game.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you've got both of them now, and
know.
you're not giving the ball to either one of them.
I cannot. I know this is what Eagles fans everywhere saying, yeah, we've been there before. Because I know that was the gripe with Andy Reid for a lifetime for them, right? Why won't they run the ball? Why won't they run the ball? I get it that Andy Reid's DNA is a passing attack and a quick, and they do other things, and I understand all of that. But even if it is only to protect Mahomes and literally no other reason, you have to do it. Now, of course, that's not the only reason. One reason is it helps your defense a ton, which I think we saw play a little bit better
Better.
last night. They didn't have to defend Ladd McConkey, the Chargers' top offensive weapon. So I don't want to get overly confident, but it looked a little better. Chargers should have had another touchdown on that deep ball. Like we got to be honest with the defense, but running the ball helps the defense and it protects Mahomes. We'll get more into this as we make our way through. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to get into bowl season for K-State. Voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, joins us. Here we go. It's a bowl game, and we're going to give you an opportunity to win 4-pack of vouchers to Illuminations at Botanica right now, courtesy of Sports Daily, KFH, and Odyssey Wichita. Just text the keyword SHINE, SHINE, to the short code 20357. You can enter once per day. We're going to draw these winners on Friday. SHINE 20357, a 4-pack to Botanica, the Illumination show there. We're going to come back. We'll have Wyatt Thompson in next.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20-plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20-plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Radio home for K-State Athletics, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. It's that time, Sports Daily, getting all the inside information on Kansas State. Let's go now to the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht, Wyatt Thompson here. Tommy will be back in just a minute. Wyatt, it's bowl season, I suppose, as we get ready for the basketball season. The CFP is set. K-State heads to it's Phoenix to play the Rate Bowl. I'm not sure what this one used to be called, but the Copper Bowl, I believe, the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, the Cactus Bowl, but it's a Rate Bowl now. And K-State gets a game against Rutgers, a team they are 7-point favorites against in this game. What's been the initial reaction there, Manhattan, to the Rate Bowl?
I really think the team is quite excited about going to Phoenix. Now, is it what they wanted initially, Jacob? Certainly not. I think we talked about it last week with the 7-1 start. You're thinking about maybe getting to Arlington, maybe getting into the 12. None of that happened because K-State lost 3 of its last 4. Rutgers is 7-5. I think they're excited too. This will be the second time K-State has played Rutgers in a bowl game. And interestingly enough, Greg Schiano is the coach in his second stint here in Piscataway. And now, I mean, he was the coach before. I think it's a good matchup for K-State. I really like it. I think, with the sting of the end of the year kind of starting to fade at least a little bit, everybody is pumped up to get to a warm climate. Right around Christmas. Coach talked about that on the Zoom yesterday with the Rate Bowl people and the media. Good opportunity for a lot of the football players to get their family to Phoenix and have a lot of fun together for a handful of days.
Yeah, it's going to be a game I think that K-State can easily motivate for. Now, this is interesting, I think, for K-State. It's a young team. I don't think, the Cats aren't in this situation so many teams face this time of year where players have to make a really difficult call on whether they're going to try to get ready for their pro career, whether they want to go out there and risk injury at this point. K-State, I can't imagine that's going to be much of an issue for the Wildcats, is it? Because, outside of portaling out, which will certainly happen to some degree, this is a young team that should all be mostly coming back.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate, to be real honest with you. I think there is the possibility of maybe a guy or two that would opt out, but I don't think Coach Kleiman at this point is necessarily expecting that. The portal to this point has, for me, this is not the coaches talking, this is me, not a lot of surprise there. If there is a surprise, it's Trey Spivey. The other guys, I think, really didn't get a lot of playing time and are just looking for opportunity. And that happens. And it's happening everywhere. It's just part of the process. But they've had some time off. I think sometimes that's a good thing to just get away a little bit and get refreshed. And I think they are going to be excited to play this game. Rutgers finished the year. They went through a stretch there where they lost at Nebraska and then lost 3 in a row, 4 straight total after that Nebraska game, but then won 3 of their last 4. So they'll have a little momentum going into it. And, I don't know that they're a spectacular team, but they're pretty typical Big Ten. They're big. They like to play physical football. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think K-State got the right formula to go play a good bowl game. I would like their chances quite a bit. Let's talk CFP for a minute, Wyatt, as we look, kind of holistically, because we'll have time to break down Rutgers before the game is played, close to Christmas here. Actually, the day after Christmas. So we look at the CFP. The Big 12 has helped a great deal by Clemson beating SMU. That allows Arizona State, even as the 12th ranked team, to slide up and get that bye because they're the conference champion. Remember, to those everybody out there, it's the highest ranked conference champion. So even though SMU finishes ahead, they did not win the ACC conference championship. So Arizona State slides into the bye. SMU's got to play a prove-it game, Boise State, and then the Big Ten and the SEC. I didn't have any overwhelming. I think they got it right, Wyatt. Like, I don't like that Indiana didn't play anybody, but they had one loss. And so, Alabama had 3, Iowa State had 3. I don't like that Indiana didn't play anybody, but, one loss in that conference, okay, fine. Other than that, I think they got this pretty much right. SMU getting in over Alabama was the right decision, and that was really the only one they had to make.
At the end of the day, the idea is to get it right. And I'm in agreement with you. I think they did. I know there are a lot of people that are soured with the fact that Alabama did not get in, but a 3-loss team that lost to Vandy and to Oklahoma isn't necessarily the kind of look that we're used to out of the Crimson Tide. No. I think the only thing that anybody could really argue with at the moment, this is just one guy's opinion, is what about Miami? I don't know enough about their strength of schedule. Maybe it's a little bit like Indiana's. I don't know. But I agree with you in the fact that Indiana's got to be in there with one loss. I mean, they just do. They played an Ohio State team decently, not great, but decently in the Big House, the Horseshoe. So I like what I see. You could argue all day, I suppose, about Boise being the number 3. But the reality is they lost one game, and that was a walk-off field goal against the number 1 team in the tournament. Hard to argue that.
Oh, totally. Boise absolutely earned their spot. I don't think there's any question about that. And I was ready to say Indiana was going to make me the angriest, but because of Clemson beating SMU and the way that shook out, and look, I think conference champion. I know people thought conference championship weekend didn't matter as much, and all of these things, but yes, it did. I mean, it did, because if SMU doesn't come back in that game the way that they did, which was an outcome we saw, if that game went the way it looked like it might go in the first part, Alabama's in over SMU. So it did matter. It did matter what happened on the field in conference championship game. And even if you want to say it didn't, everything leading up to it, every single week meant far more for these teams in the mix than it ever has before. I mean, imagine just this season in a 4-team playoff. Like, we'd be pulling our hair out, arguing about, whether Notre Dame and Ohio State and, all these teams deserve to be there. Well, what about Boise? Like, we don't have to do that anymore. And all these teams played games through the end to get it done. Real quick, Wyatt, let's talk about the Big 12's representative, Arizona State, one of the hottest teams in the country. I love the way that I know they have that key injury at wide receiver, but I like Arizona. I love their quarterback, and we all know about their running back. But man, they've got some swag right now.
I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, but I think I've been saying to you guys for quite a while, I love their quarterback, and everybody loves Scadaboo. Why would you not? I mean, if you like football, you like that guy, and it isn't just because of his name, right? I mean, the dude can play, and I do think that they're playing as well as anybody. I'm excited for them. I think it's. You want to talk about a Cinderella story? Picked last in the Big 12, that's 16th now, and they win the league, and they're the best team in the last probably month and a half of the season. Good for them. I think it's we're living in a world now, Jacob, where you can rebuild very quickly with the portal. And I don't think this is the last time we'll see something like this. And I think it's great for them, and it's obviously very good that they're in there.
We saw it out of TCU not that long ago.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Like, it's not even This isn't some crazy new thing. Like we just sort of saw this not that long ago. This is new. Okay, real quick before we let you go, K-State basketball, Wyatt. I think it was a pretty good microcosm there with St. John's. They shot the lights out in the first half. Hassan was incredible, and the shooting goes a little cold, and St. John pulls away. I don't know how much can they get away from. If they shoot it well, they're really good from three, and if they don't, they're very, very average at best.
Yeah, I think there's some accuracy to that. I think the defense comes into play at some level too. I will give St. John's credit for, you could see right out of the gate in the second half that they were going to get into K-State's grill and they were going to stay there. And I felt like in listening to Coach Tang on air and then off, I think he felt like he used the word, we got punked in the second half, which basically means we got out toughed, we got out physical, if that's proper English, which it probably isn't, but you get the idea. They were the better team, clearly. An 18-5 run to start the half. I didn't think K-State played anywhere near in the second like they did the first, and it really cost them.
Zuby Ejiofor, former KU.
He looked like an All-American.
Well, I think a lot of KU fans thought he might be Darren Lawrence, but he is for. And St. John's is really good. I'm trying to. I don't know how we can look at what we've seen right now from the Cats and expect them to be a top half Big 12 team, which is what we sort of hoped. I guess my question is, can they get there? Like, is that in the tank for this team?
I think Coach believes that they can, but I think reality sets in where it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to play really, really well. Even before the game with St. John's, K-State was in the low 90s in the net. That's a long hill to climb, buddy. And and they really needed that game. And now it's even more important, I suppose, to beat an undefeated Drake team the next time out, a week from tomorrow. And then you got Wichita State and Wichita. Those are no gimmies. And then conference play starts, and those are going to be 20 hard games. So I'm not going to kid you. It's an uphill battle, 100%.
And for Cat fans listening that haven't been paying attention to the Shockers, they've been pretty good, and so it's not going to be like last year, like that. That's going to be. I'll be fascinated to see what the odds makers think of that game, because those Wichita State, K-State really kind of in the same spot, in the net or the Ken Palmer, however you want to look at it. Wyatt, it'll be a busy week. We'll dig into Rutgers. We'll begin to break that down. We'll have more portal news, I'm sure, next week. So we'll get all of that. We appreciate it. Enjoy maybe a little bit of a breath catching here. Now finally, and
we don't play again until next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow night. So I do feel like, and we've got our company Christmas party on Thursday night and stuff like that. So. There's a lot of things going on, even though just the one broadcast. I've got Coach Tang's radio show Thursday night, but other than that, it's pretty clean, buddy.
It's time to enjoy the time. Wyatt, we appreciate it. Let's do it again next week.
Got it. Sounds great.
There goes Wyatt Thompson, voice of the K-State Wildcats. Always happy to have Wyatt in. We're so grateful for his time and breaking down everything K-State. The Rate Bowl. At least it's a trip to Phoenix, Cap fans. Pretty hard to beat that in late December. Look outside right now at this fog and cold and sunny Phoenix. Sounds pretty dang good, but we'll have more on that as we make our way through. All right. We're going to get you to another break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue our discussion with the Chiefs. We'll get into KU next segment. We've got WWE superstar Drew McIntyre in on the program, top of the next hour as well. A lot to get to here. Let's go to our next giveaway. How about that? Professional bull riders coming to Wichita. It's the PBR Unleash the Beast Tour. It's this Friday night in Trust Bank Arena. We're going to give you a chance to win a pair of tickets. All you got to do is text the keyword BEAST, B-E-A-S-T, to the short code 20357. Get you some professional bull riding action here in Wichita on Friday night. That's this Friday, 20357. Send the word BEAST to that code for your chance to win. We're coming right back. More Sports Daily right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are, in the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSCW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
back in, everybody. Take a minute here to tell you about Pepin Suter Remodeling. You can go to Pepin Suter, PEPINSUTER.com to check out all the work. Pepin Suter does inside, outside, whatever you need around the house. They redid our kitchen this summer. We had my daughter's 10th birthday party yesterday afternoon, and so what we did in our kitchen, biggest part of it was putting this massive island in there. Got rid of the kitchen table, get it out of here. Brought an idea basically on paper to Pepin, and they made it happen. But it was like 12 kids surrounded around this. It was perfect. It was awesome. We were so happy to have that. They did a fantastic job on our house. Their bid was the best by a very wide margin. So give Pepin a call, 316-573-6822. If you've got a home project you're working on, you're thinking about, make sure you get that bid from Pepin Suter Remodeling. Their work is outstanding. The quality of their people they used on our job was outstanding, and they'll probably have the best bid. All right, Tommy. Speaking of that, man, we've got I don't know that I sent you this video. So it's like we're about past halftime of the games, and I'm in the living room with about 10, fourth grade girls turning on the karaoke machine and trying to all right, what are we doing here? And of course, everyone's super shy in the beginning. Throw on some Taylor Swift. You don't know what it. So I get one of the girls pops up there and she's like, yeah, I'll do it. And so Michelle's like, you have to get on there with her. You have to loosen them up. And I'm like, okay, we're starting this ultimate dad embarrassment mode. And they picked a Taylor Swift song that I have never heard before. I thought I was pretty hip but they picked one, never heard this song. And I did not carry the performance, but we loosened them up and we had a big karaoke party, and it was great.
I've learned some new things. I didn't realize that you had a karaoke machine. That opens up the door for tons of different opportunities that I didn't even realize we had.
Oh yeah, I'm fantastic karaoke. You get me, appropriately lubricated on a karaoke night at the bar, and we'll bring the house down. Now, that's different than stone cold sober singing Taylor Swift songs that you've never heard before with a group of 10-year-old girls. But it's one of those things as a dad, none of you will be, you be the most embarrassed of me, and then you don't have to worry about it. But 22 was the name of that song.
Oh, that's a good song. You don't know that one?
Apparently not. I like a lot of Taylor Swift songs, and I think I know the hits. I haven't listened to her over the years though. So if it's not one of the the ones that I did not know it, and so it showed. It showed. I was not proud of my performance. Threw on What Does the Fox Say and nailed it on that one. All right, so we're going to continue our Chiefs comment here. Ken, I know Ken's got thoughts on the Jayhawks. We're going to get into that in the second hour. Let's continue to talk Chiefs. Rodney brings up a point and says, I hear what you're saying, and we're talking about the run game here, but it's also important that, Pacheco and Hunt don't get hurt and they make it to the playoffs with both of them healthy. I think the counter to that, Rodney, is pretty easy. You can't make it to the playoffs with Patrick Mahomes hurt either. And that's what's been so tough about this entire situation. Normally, in normal circumstances, you could look at this and we'd be, okay, yeah, they should be running the ball, but they're throwing the ball and they're throwing it effectively because Patrick Mahomes during this stretch has looked the best he's looked all season. There's no question about that, but he's getting destroyed back there. I mean, they couldn't stop talking about how many hits he was taking last night on the broadcast. That is the concern. Before anything else, you can make a decent case against every other piece of the reason they should run the ball other than they have to protect Mahomes. Their left tackle play is hot garbage. Even if it was a little less hot garbage this week, it's still hot garbage. And Mahomes is getting destroyed out there, and you can't keep doing that. If the Bills lost a game, I don't play Mahomes. If the Chiefs can wrap up home field, just don't play him the rest of the way. Don't let him take the hits. This is crazy, the kind of pressure he's under right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the other counter to what Rodney's saying about having both Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt healthy for the playoffs, that's all true and that's all well and good. But, if I'm one of those running backs, I'm going to want at least some reps to be able to keep my legs fresh down the stretch and then getting into the postseason. And it doesn't mean that, they need to be bell cows and both run the football 20 plus times, both of them in a game. I think that's unrealistic. But at least if you can establish that, you can keep them fresh. And I know there's always going to be a risk of injury. Pacheco got hurt early in the season, broke his leg, and because of his running style and the way that he was tackled in that moment and all of that. But, I don't think you want to have them be in a situation where they're both cold going into the playoffs and you haven't kept them fresh and active and in the midst of the offense. I don't think that does anybody any good once you get into the playoffs. I mean, take a look at, by the way, when the Chiefs played the Ravens last year in the playoffs and how everybody said John Harbaugh has got to run the football. And if he runs the football, then the Ravens win that game. He got away from it. He didn't run the football. They didn't win the game. You can't have that happen if you're the Chiefs on the flip side. You have to be able to establish that. And I say the word establish. Isaiah Pacheco ran the football 5 times in the first drive that the Chiefs had. They established it just fine. They just didn't continue it. They didn't continue to utilize that run game because then Kareem Hunt had 1 touch after that in the first half. And there was a stretch of football from the very beginning of the second quarter
to crazy
where they did not run the ball at all. They didn't run it at all.
It's in a close game.
Well, absolutely. You've got to keep, at least the defense on their heels a little bit and provide some kind of, difference in there, something to keep them, at least honest a little bit. The other thing too, Jad and I were talking about this during the break. Patrick Mahomes was getting the ball out immediately as soon as he got it. He had no choice, I tweeted it last night. Like, don't even try to count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi for the length of time that Patrick Mahomes held onto the ball, because that was the only way that he could complete the passes. Now it worked. There was the touchdown throw to DeAndre Hopkins where he got the ball out immediately, but he had no choice.
That was a great play call. It not only that, it feels like he's still under pressure. Even with that, like even when they're getting rid of the ball that quickly, it still feels like he's under pressure. It's wild. And if you want to save Pacheco and Hunt, which they don't need to save Hunt, but if you want, then run the ball to Carson Steele. Like you just they literally
had a couple of good plays last night.
You need 3 yards and a cloud of dust as a part of this offense right now to run the clock, to protect Mahomes and to protect your defense. The thing that Pacheco gives you when you do it, he's got the ability to break one off for 50 yards. Right? That's what Hunt and Steele and P. Ryan, those guys don't have that in the tank. You got that back in Pacheco. Pacheco can do that. He does it all the time. Got to run the ball. Mahomes is under siege. Let's talk about the defense real quick. Better, but again, and again, this is Super Bowl or bust. So don't misunderstand in another win for a team that's 12-1 that we're piling on. That's not what it is at all. We're looking at this as what could hold them back from a Super Bowl. Defense looked better, I think, but Tommy, if you remember it, the Chargers missed a play that should have been a touchdown, right? I mean, I think that's fair. That should have been a touchdown. They missed the throw. That would have changed things dramatically. So while it was better, it wasn't where it needs to be. The defense continues to struggle creating pressure. They had 3 sacks, which is okay, but there were way too many plays where they didn't have pressure. Trent McDuffie can't do everything in the secondary, and the Chargers, they didn't have McConkey. And why that's important is the Chiefs have been vulnerable, very much so, from slot receivers and tight ends, right? We've seen that. And McConkey is their slot receiver and has been a phenomenal rookie, and he didn't play. And I think that's important. And Will Dissly got hurt. And I know Will Dissly's backup came in the second half and lit it up a little bit. But you saw that tight end vulnerability open up there in the second half. And again, a missed touchdown, no McConkey. I don't want to get overly excited about the way the defense played because it still needs to be better.
Well, and on top of that, too, I mean, it's not like the Chargers running backs ran all over the Chiefs.
Nobody runs all over the Chiefs.
Right. But I will say that both Gus Edwards and Kamani Vidal had a little bit more success against the Chiefs in running the football than what we had seen in past weeks. Edwards got into the end zone for a touchdown. He did average less than 4 yards a carry, but Vidal, he carried the ball 8 times and averaged over 4 yards a carry. It's not, anything incredible, but that was helpful and it was complimentary. I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at the way the Chargers ran their offense versus the way the Chiefs run their offense, Justin Herbert was under siege a lot also in the game. He was getting hit nonstop. It's not like the offensive line for LA was phenomenal last night. He was pretty efficient. Herbert was 21 of 30 for over 200 yards. It wasn't like he threw the crap out of the ball. And there were a couple of the deep throws that he, could have had that were very, very close to, being successful. And he didn't have McConkey and all of that. He was pretty efficient though, 21 of 30. And they were at least utilizing guys like Edwards and Vidal to play complementary football to help take at least a little bit of the pressure off of Justin Herbert. Imagine what that offense would have looked like for the Chargers had they not ran the ball at all. And Herbert was under siege nonstop all the time. He was even when they ran the ball, but it would have been even more glaring had they not done that. That's exactly the way that the Chiefs operated last night.
I mean, they didn't run. They couldn't do anything. I think they joked. Heineke in the play had to come in, had the most rushing yards for the team in the first half. But everything the Chargers did got better in the second half. So they made some adjustments. That's what happens when you have a really good coach, and they do. So look, we got a couple other questions here. Rick says, why was D-Hop not defenseless receiver, but the hit on the Chargers in the first half was? I don't know. That play, too, was a hold that they didn't call. But again, like I said this last night, I don't think Chiefs fans are going to gain a lot of sympathy when it comes to calls. That perception is there for them. I think that's an incorrect perception because last year they were heavily, heavily penalized. But when I'm watching and they're highlighting how Jawan Taylor's offsides almost every single play, like I'm not gonna just sit here and be like, oh my God, they missed calls. They could seriously call him almost every time he takes a snap. So whatever. Like I don't get too much into that unless it decides a game late. But there were missed calls on both sides for sure. Defense has got to get better. They've got to run the ball. I know you're pessimistic to it, Tommy. They did run the ball in those final two possessions. They did. They opened the game that way, which tells you there was at least intent, even though it got taken away. I don't know if that's Mahomes checking the plays. I don't know if that's Andy Reid doing it. I have a hard time believing it's Mahomes checking out of run plays at this point. But they did it at the end of the game. They reestablished, and it won them the football game. They were able to run that clock out. They were able to get themselves in very manageable situations, and it presented itself. It's wild. We haven't even talked about the doink. The Chiefs have had 3 different kickers kick game-winning field goals. Mike Tirico with a doink for the division, which was great. Holthus has a great call on it. It was another laughable ending. It does, and we maybe we get more into this in the second hour. I got to tell you, Tommy, I hate running the clock out to settle for a field goal, especially when you're down. I know they've got confidence in their kickers, but why not just run the plays and see if you can get it into the end zone on accident?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it's, the situation where they knew that they weren't moving, the ball to a point to where it was going to work for them at the end of the game. The bottom line was they needed to settle. They needed to make sure that they got the win. And I mentioned it last week. The bottom line is that this team is going to do one of two things. They're either going to find ridiculous ways to win games, which they did last night again, and it's happened week in and week out, or it's going to catch up to them eventually. And it hasn't yet. But again, as long as they've got Patrick Mahomes, I mean, look, like he's going to put the team on his shoulders and make it work one way or the other.
That's what they do. Just don't. You're trusting your third string kicker at that point, Tommy. Just instead of kneeling it, just run it up the middle. See if they can break one off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But we'll answer your questions and continue to discuss Chiefs into the next hour. We've got it on the brain. KU fans, we're gonna get into it. That was a rough week, and I think everybody has some PTSD from last year. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what to make of it just yet, but we'll dig into the 2 losses on the road last week as well. Coming up in the second hour, we'll give you away some HTO as well. You've got 2 text contests going right now. I want to say Crestview Country Club has plenty going on this time of year. The golf settles in and slows down, but they've got the TrackMan, so they've got the simulators in there, and then all kinds of events coming with the great restaurant and the holidays, and you can get access to all of that stuff without the full membership. You can do all of those things. They have different tiers, so give them a call. We appreciate their support of this program. Let them know we sent you. Ask them about it. It's a great time to join. You can usually get, good deals on all the ways to get in this time of year. So give them a call. When we return, joining us in studio there with Tommy, Drew McIntyre, WWE superstar, Monday Night Raw tonight here in Wichita. We're going to chat with Drew a little bit here when we return. Get you ready for some Monday Night Raw. That's how we start hour number 2. It's all Brockton Caster. Jad Chambers producing. Don't go away. More Sports Daily right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch. 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrock and Tommy Kester.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. It is hour number 2. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor with you. Glad and delighted to be joined by Drew McIntyre, WWE superstar. You've got Monday Night Raw right here tonight in Trust Bank Arena. Another live television show coming through Wichita. Always a great time. Drew, thanks for being here with us, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. Excited to be back in Wichita. The fans are great. The weather is nuts.
Yeah, no, it's now you're from Scotland, correct? How much does this foggy, dreary weather? I've never been to Scotland, so I'll ignorantly just guess that sometimes you get this based on what we see from some of the golf over there, but it doesn't feel like what you thought in Kansas, maybe.
This is pretty much exactly what it's like in Scotland. It's cold, it's wet, it's rainy, we get fog. But I left almost 20 years ago now and been living in the sunshine in Florida for about 14 years and Nashville, Tennessee for a couple of years. So yeah, I've been running away from the cold my whole life, and I've ran right back into it in Wichita, which is good because tonight I need to kick some arse. So I need to get annoyed, and this weather is getting me to where I need to be to beat up some people tonight.
Well, we're excited to have you here in Wichita, Drew, and the entire WWE roster, coming into town for Monday Night Raw. For folks that, maybe have not come to a live event before, they've not been to Monday Night Raw, line out what folks can expect there at the arena tonight.
If you don't go, you can expect a show you're going to hear about, and you're going to wish I should have went to that, and I should have took the kids to it. We're a PG-rated show. We get something for everybody. The tickets start at $25. There's a reason that our numbers are the way they are right now. We're cutting billion-dollar deals left and right. We're about to start Netflix on January 6th. We have multiple stadium shows across the world. The YouTube numbers and the social media numbers are in the freaking billions. The WWE is absolutely on fire right now, and you just have to check out one show to see why. Like between the live pyro during the entrances, the characters, and more than anything, we're such an interactive product. You go to a sporting event, you can shout from the crowd. It's fun, but it's only going to do so much. When you're actually part of the show and we adapt in real time to what you're giving us with that real time feedback, you truly are part of the show. And yeah, just see what the fuss is about for $25 is. It's a good deal because when the kids hear about it, they're going to be saying, "Why wouldn't you take me? Don't you love me, Mom and Dad?"
That's a really good point that I love. That I've got a young son, and we're not getting there tonight, but I need to soon.
I love a kid.
I know. I got a macho man, old wrestling guy behind me here. I dabbled for like a year at just stupidity jumping around in a ring when I was like 18, 19 years old. I love what you guys do.
Also, you know how it feels, like the preconceptions people have about the ring being a bouncy castle. You land the first time.
I've taken some bumps and I've taken some chops, and it might have been against the mall janitor, but I've been there. I love what you guys do, and the crowd interaction's the part I think that makes it more special than anything. Because you guys invoke emotion. How much fun is that to be able to get it out of people, whatever it is, whether it's, it's joy or hatred or whatever. That's such a big part of what you guys do.
That's the biggest part of what we do is emotion, making you feel something, giving you an escape because, the world is sometimes not the most positive place. And we'll give you a place for an outlet, be it make you happy, make you sad, and get whatever emotion we're going for. And that's the goal. Sometimes you might go out there and fall flat in your arse and not get what you're looking for, but the crowd will certainly have a good time watching you fall in your arse. But for myself, it's an exciting time in wrestling these past couple of years. Triple H kind of leading the charge. The way we're doing things now, we're very story-driven, character-driven, as we should be. We're 52 weeks a year. So we can explore these characters, more depth with our storylines, more depth with our characters. You watch some TV shows, they get 10 episodes a season, whatever. We are non-stop all year. We should be going in depth with these characters. We should be making people know us at a core level. And it's exciting for me, especially the past year, to take the fans on such an emotional roller coaster journey with Drew McIntyre. And basically, I've just been telling the truth. Like, I go out there, I say the truth. And the thing about people in 2024, not just in wrestling, but in the real world, they don't like when people tell the truth. They don't like when someone tells them how it is. And I don't care. I run my mouth. I tell them how it is. The roster don't like it, but what are they going to do to stop me? I'm 6'5", 280 pounds, Scottish. I'm a badass. I'll beat your arse after talking you on the microphone. I'll rip you apart on social media. I'll beat your arse. And if I wasn't married, I'd take your girl too.
You mentioned how different things have been over the last, couple of years in WWE, Drew, and you've been a part of this organization for several years, and then even prior to that, had a stint a long time ago. How's that changed for you? I mean, not only just with your character, but just the way that you operate, the changes that you've seen with Triple H at the helm.
Yeah, I mean, the changes are massive, and you can see it reflected in our numbers, in our attendance numbers, in our business contracts, and now. And it's cool. I mean, just to watch the evolution of our industry, the way it was is the reason where we're at now. When I came in 17 years ago, I was like, it cannot be any bigger than this. This is the dream. This is so gigantic. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And then we had a WWE Network, and then WWE Network on Peacock, where we're at currently. And as I mentioned already, we're about to move to Netflix. So we can't go anywhere in the world. Like, I'm friends with athletes from different sports, some actors and stuff. And some of them, unless they're like leading people or known stars, when they take their helmet off, can just walk around in public. Whatever country we go to, every single, without fail, place I go is, Drew McIntyre, you're that wrestler guy. And my life's over once we go to Netflix. It's just wild how big WWE is now.
I want you to take us through your day. You're in studio, which we really appreciate. You mentioned you're 6'5" and 280 pounds. I think you're about the same age as both Tommy and I. I can throw my back out putting out on a pair of socks.
Very true.
You're out there. You are, performing. I'm going to guess 5-ish nights a week, whatever it is, but you come do this, you got to have time for the gym. You got to have time. Like, what does that day look like for you as a WWE superstar?
It's a little different these days than it used to be. I'm not in the gym 7 days a week like I was when I was a kid. I started wrestling at 15 years old professionally. Got signed to WWE when I finished my degree in criminology at 21 years old. And I've been going with that full-time schedule. All those bumps in the ring, as you know, it hurts, especially when you're doing it multiple times a week. You can't fake gravity. When someone can figure out to fake gravity, tell this guy first. I keep jumping up and falling down. But yeah, it's the advancements we've had in, sports and medicine as well. If you're sensible, like, just listen to your body. I hydrate these days instead of hydrating with beer and Jack Daniels all the time. I use water more now. I stretch a lot. And I'm more sensible what I do in the ring. Like, I don't take unnecessary risks like I used to when I was a kid, because, as we've talked about, it's not necessarily about those stunts. The stunts get a big, oh my God, a little clap. Then no one remembers. You remember because your back still hurts for 3 weeks afterwards. But if you can make them feel, you get that emotional reaction. That's something to never forget.
You have done, everything in the WWE. You're, multi-time champion, multiple championships in your time in WWE. In the last year, in 2024, you had a really long feud with CM Punk. And there were matches as a part of that feud that just took the world by storm. Now that you were kind of out of that feud a little bit, looking back on that, what's been the year like for you?
And the year was pretty much me getting screwed over and over at the finish line. And as I mentioned, telling the truth, I told the world the truth about Punk, what kind of person he was. And even though there's mounds of evidence online, I always ask people just check out the evidence, the character reports, the things he's really said. And they cheered him. And I kept pushing forward, doing what I could, telling my truth, telling the truth, even though people started turning on me. And I was always, their guy, always stood up for what I believe what was right. And in the end, I almost bled to death in my last match, Hell in the Cell. I'd acquired 16 staples to close a wound in my head. I continued wrestling for 25 minutes after that before succumbing to blood loss, and still they cheered my opponent. And it's cool that people, enjoyed that program together. If it felt real, it's because it was real, everything we were saying about each other. And I just saw WWE give it the feud of the year, as it should have been, because as we say, emotion, it was real. And sometimes they like to go for the golden boys, but it was absolutely the feud of the year. And I'm pretty disappointed the way it turned out. But more than anything, I've been out for 2 months and just seeing the fallout and thinking about my journey, my first time off without an injury in my entire life, the lack of contact from fans, from coworkers, after giving for so long was a real eye-opener. After spending time with my family in Scotland, my actual family, after thinking this was my family for 17 years and realizing that I've probably should have been giving them more. I have a very different mindset that I have right now. I'm not going to be so giving. I'm going to take, because when I'm gone, it doesn't matter if you're Stone Cold, The Rock, or Drew McIntyre. When you're gone, they move on to the next guy. And it sucks. But again, I tell the truth, and I had to open my eyes to that. And what happened with the Punk stuff, I went away. I'm back with a new mindset. I'm going to start cracking some skulls. I'm going to tell even more truths. And I'm going to tear people apart on social media as I do, because nobody can keep up with me, be it online, on the mic, in that ring. It's going to be a lot of fun for me, and I don't care what anyone else thinks, to be honest.
I love it. I love it. You gotta take it away. And you know what? If you get people angry, it makes it better. It does make me wonder, when you talked about being away, I think sometimes a lot of people say, well, why do these guys keep doing it as they get older? They just keep we saw, legends like Ric Flair get out there as a senior citizen. Terry Funk, who's one of my idols and a good friend, got out there way too long in his life. But that probably explains it, right? You miss it when it's not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a drug. It's such an adrenaline rush. You can't compare it to anything else. I grew up playing soccer, being from Scotland, the tallest football player in the world. But in a team sport, it's just not the same. Like, you're literally in front of the world, in some people's worst nightmare. My most comfortable position is being in my underpants in front of the entire world. It's more comfortable to bear the camera on me and thousands of eyeballs on me than talking to most people in real life. So yeah, like once you feel that buzz of the crowd and the fact that you can take them in that emotional journey, and when you get good at it, really good at it, it's nothing more rewarding than out there doing your own stunts live, telling your story with your blank canvas and taking these people on this ride. And you're like, man, this is real art as far as I'm concerned. And you don't want to ever let it go. Even if Father Time is telling you, well, you're not going to physically be able to do it. And if you're, again, really good at it, you say like a Flair or a Terry Funk, you can adapt, you can scale back, because you've still got that ability to tell those stories and evoke those emotions.
Two of the greatest in the ring, two of the greatest on the mic. I know that's what you're shooting for. We appreciate it. Now, you've probably got something special for us, but you don't have to tell us what you've got planned, but based on what we've seen recently, I would imagine you're going to make your presence known here tonight in Wichita. Maybe any kind of teaser or whatever you can give the fans out at Intrust Bank Arena, or if they're watching on television tonight, for what you've got in store for us.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you can expect what you had before, but a very evolved version and a very clear thinking Drew McIntyre telling the truth, where people saying, damn, should he be saying that right now? And damn, he's telling the truth, but he's upsetting me because he's telling the truth. And then, yeah, there'll always be physicality when it comes to me. And again, who the heck's going to stop me? No one's big enough. Again, I'm a monster of the roster, and I'll be the part of the show where I bring the physicality and bring the pain. And for everybody else who's checking out for the first time, there'll be other stuff. There'll things that make you happy, make you smile. It just ain't going to be me. Except for the mothers. I'm your mother's favorite wrestler. They're going to smile when I'm out there.
Yeah. That's why I'm not. That's why I can't bring my wife. We're just running into danger here, Drew. Hey, we appreciate you being here. Stay healthy, stay safe in all your travels. We know you're bouncing around everywhere, so be good. Can't wait to see you tonight. Can't wait to see the whole roster, the whole show. We appreciate you guys coming through Wichita on the tour. It's a great city, a hidden gem here in the Midwest, and we appreciate WWE making a part of it and you making some time to stop by the show today. We appreciate it, Drew.
Oh, thank you. It's been fun this morning. I'm going to go endure the cold, get a workout in, and then crack some skulls.
Let's do it. Tonight, you'll see it. Intrust Bank Arena. You can still get tickets there. The show starts at 6:30 is when you can get in the door. You can, of course, watch it as well. Drew McIntyre, WWE superstar. First of, maybe we'll do this again the next time you're in Wichita. We appreciate it, Drew.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. Sports Daily, rolling forward. Go check out Raw. Check it out tonight. If you're new to it, it's nothing better than a live show. Get crazy, get rowdy. We're all fans here in the Sports Daily studio. We'll be right back. More coming up right after this.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere. Bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issue a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Mornings at KFH. Always appreciate Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up. That one got me hyped, Tommy. You know, we've done several of the wrestling interviews. That was the best one with Drew McIntyre. I appreciate him stopping by. Appreciate, Interest Bank Arena, WWE for setting those up. Always, they're fast and crazy when these guys have to roll through like that, but he was very good. Love his energy, and hope everybody gets a chance to go. We were close. Like, we really were going to try. It's a pretty crazy week for us, which is why I couldn't be there. Lucky for Drew, because he'd probably been a little intimidated if I'd have been there in studio with you, Tommy. But
hey, you may look scrawny on camera.
That's right.
You're even more scrawny in person.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
The camera does not tell the true story.
I
like to say wiry. I like to say wiry.
You can say wiry. I'll say scrawny. I'm not a small guy by any means. I dwarf.
Yeah.
You look like a dwarf next to him. Like, he dwarfs me like crazy. And what I liked about that too, I mean, did you catch his fashion? I know that you couldn't. I know you weren't in the studio. You can only see him from like the waist up on camera, but
yeah,
he looked like Johnny Cash. I mean, it was the full black suit, black shirt, black jacket, black pants, black, looked like cowboy boots, the dark black ponytail. I mean, it's an intimidating creature right there in Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it's all a part of it. I need to, I mean this, like, I need to get back to it. I think my son, it would immediately become his favorite thing. I've got to figure out how to do that, just because it was such a fun part of growing up. And they come through Wichita often enough that you could really make that a cool night with the kid. I've got to get back into it and figure out a way to let him. And I haven't been there, Tommy, since they have made, the switch to Triple H and all that. And I know that, that was a long time coming, but if it is, if they have figured out a way to get it, sort of back to that PG-ish, PG-13, then it's really in. So get out there, check it out. I wish I could be there at the show tonight for sure.
And I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a massive WWE fan. I was when I was a kid. I don't follow it every day. I've got a ton of respect for it.
Yeah.
But I went to Raw probably, 10 years ago when it was at Interest Bank Arena. I had no idea what the heck was going on, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. We sat on the floor, so we were just a few rows back from the ring. It was awesome. And on top of that, I'm a broadcasting guy, so watching them put on a live show, they're counting down in the arena, coming back from commercial break and getting everybody jacked up and it's a presentation like none other. It is so much fun.
It's cool. Glad they could stop by. Glad they could be here, and I think he's going to have big impact on his return. I was there. I was into it up until probably 4 or 5 years ago, where I would watch still. I'd try to at least catch Raw would be the only thing I'd watch, and then maybe a pay-per-view on the big ones or whatever. But it's been a few years. I need to come back to it. I think it's probably in a really, really, really good place right now. That's what I've heard from people that have stuck with it. All right. Let's talk KU here, Tommy. Ken says the border war was a disaster. Has a Bill Self team ever looked so discombobulated? Yeah, I think it has last year. I think that's the fear here, Tommy. You've got, and look, this is, let's not forget, a KU team than when it wasn't playing true road games, beat Duke and beat Michigan State and beat North Carolina. But they went on the road and they played two good teams, and they looked, I don't want to call it dominated because that's not true, but they didn't look like what we've seen them look like. And it's kind of feels like the same old story. We had the weird Creighton game, which we talked about, in which DeJuan Harris had to take 21 shots and Hunter Dickinson only took 4. And then we get into the game against Missouri. Hunter Dickinson increased back his, offensive workload to some degree, but it's still not in dominating fashion. What do you think of Hunter Dickinson's role here, and how much of what we've seen the past couple of years when things don't go right do you think we can point at the 24-year-old, National Player of the Year candidate and what he brings to the table physically? Obviously, his skill set is high. But what do you make of this?
Well, I think that offensively, the Jayhawks are pretty predictable right now. And I think that that's really been the key for both Creighton and Missouri in both of these most recent games for the Jayhawks, is that they know, Creighton and Missouri both knew, that Hunter Dickinson is the focal point offensively, and that if you can shut him down and you force the guards to shoot from long distance, if they're not making shots and if they're turning the ball over, then at that point, you're going to have a lot of success. And so Kansas really has to figure out, okay, we know what Hunter Dickinson can do, and he is the best big man in the country, bar none. There's no doubt about that. But there's got to be other legitimate scoring threats outside of Hunter Dickinson. And I think a large part of the game, at least yesterday in the first half for Kansas, were the turnovers. And that's really been something that has not plagued the Jayhawks up to this point, where they haven't turned the ball over. And that's been a huge benefit to them up to this point. They turned the ball over a lot in the first half. And it wasn't even necessarily that Missouri had overly suffocating defense in the first half, but there were careless passes. There were just things that were not working right. And I think that goes back to what Ken mentions when he says that, the Jayhawks were discombobulated. Things were not running smoothly for Kansas, especially in the first half. And so I think that's a major part of it as well, that they've got to clean up. And they did to an extent in the second half. When they started to come back, they ratcheted up the intensity some in the second half. That sparked their comeback. They cut it to within 2 with a couple of minutes left. So that's all, I guess, positives that you can draw from it. But they've got to figure out, number one, an additional scoring threat, a legitimate, consistent scoring threat outside of Hunter Dickinson. Then they've got to make sure they don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, they shot the ball much better from 3 in the second half, which is part of the reason they were able to come back, I think. But it's funny, both of the games, they were 8 of 23 against Creighton, Tommy. They were 8 of 23 against Missouri. The exact same line from 3. I don't know. The defense, I always expect a Bill Self team to get better defensively. I guess that's where my question with Hunter comes into play. He is not like he is so skilled at what he does, but he lumbers a bit, right? And he's not a physical specimen or anything. And I do think they're going to have to figure out some defense. You had Mark Mitchell, by the way. I forgot he was at Missouri, former Sunrise Christian star. From the Kansas City area, but he and Tamar Bates just lived on the free throw line, right? And of course, those are two guys who make all their free throws. I just wonder what the ceiling defensively is for this team, because offensively, I think we have a general idea, right? At some point, these new players are going to just have to shoot from outside well or better. But defensively, I don't think we know that yet. And when you rotate this many new players in, and when Hunter Dickinson's out there and he's not a defensive force to me, Tommy, like I don't know, but how much better defensively do you think this team can be? Because that to me is the biggest takeaway from the weekend, is that, where does the defense end up for KU this year? 76 points for the opposition for both teams. That's probably a little too high for what you'd want. So it's got to get better, I would think, if they want to, reach a Final Four and a national championship and all that. I just don't know how much more defensively they're going to have.
Well, look, I don't have a major issue overall with the defensive effort. I mean, sure, you would like to see more lockdown defensively in both of these last 2 games for Kansas, but really for me, it's more about Just the fact that, like, if you go back to the Creighton game, the whole strategy from the Blue Jays was they were going to collapse on Hunter Dickinson.
And they have the roster to do it.
They do. And it worked. It was effective. They were able to shut down Hunter Dickinson and force the other guards to make it work. And that really didn't pan out well. That's why you saw DeJuan Harris taking the number of shots that he did, all of that in that game against Creighton. Against Missouri, it was different. I mean, like they were, and in the first half, like it wasn't like the Tigers collapsed onto Hunter Dickinson. They pressed. Their energy level, their intensity level was really, really high. And it shook the Jayhawks. I mean, Kansas had the most turnovers they've had in almost 2 years in a game, and the majority of them came in the first half. To the Jayhawks' credit, and this goes back to your question about the defense, I thought that their defensive effort in the second half, at least, was night and day better than what we saw in the first half. And it helped that Missouri wasn't making their shots quite at the clip that they did in the first half. But defensively, the effort was better. The energy level was better. And then on the offensive end of the court, the communication was a lot better. They were able to settle into the way that Missouri wanted to play defense and cut the turnovers down, communicate better, and be able to score. And that's how they were able to get back into the game, towards the end there. So, again, you lose 2 in a row. It is what it is at that point. They looked scary, a lot like the team last year. That is concerning, I think. And, it's not going to be very long before you're in Big 12 play. You've got to have a better understanding of who you're going to run this offense through if and when Hunter Dickinson gets shut down.
I think of the real things I would say I have concern about. I'm not quite as concerned. I don't have as much of the PTSD on like trying to just compare it directly to last year, because I do think their
games looked a lot.
I agree, but I think, at least to me, they are more talented than they were a year ago. And there were times where you just looked at it and you're like, they're just not talented enough, right? I don't think we're going to get to March and think that, injuries notwithstanding, about this team. I do think they're deeper, and I do think they're more talented. They just went and played in 2 insane environments, right? At Creighton, at Missouri. Those aren't just, especially when it's KU coming in there.
Right.
That's not your average road game. Like, that is hostile. That is like, it's, and quite honestly, it's exactly what this team needs if they want to ultimately get to their goal.
And it's exactly what a lot of teams don't do in
100%.
They don't go on true road games.
Not like that. Not back to back.
And going to Missouri, which, that's not anything that you even have to do. Like the Big 12 Big East battle, it is what it is. That's a conference thing. Kansas didn't have to schedule a road game at Missouri. Like that's not anything that they were forced to do or any, like they did it. And, it is what it is. So I do want to give them credit for that because they didn't have to schedule that game and they did. It's going to make them more battle tested. All of these non-conference games that, they've been true tests for them when they play teams like North Carolina and, others in the non-con, it's going to make them better in the long run. I don't have overall like major concerns with this team. The only thing that's like concerning that I think Bill Self will absolutely harp on over the next several days is the fact that against Missouri, especially, Kansas didn't look like a team that has a significant amount of experience, and they're an extremely experienced team. I mean, take a look at their roster. Take a look at their starting lineup. Like I would put them pound for pound up against any other team in the country as far as experience is concerned. In that first half against Missouri, they looked like a team full of freshmen. They looked lost. They looked confused. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing. Like, again, it goes back to what Ken was saying about being discombobulated. That's the only major concerning thing for me is that they looked like, number one, they didn't want to be there. And number two, that it was just like they had no idea what was going on. They got punched in the mouth by Missouri out of the gate, and they had a really hard time adjusting. So that's going to be something that I know that Bill Self is going to be working on in the next several days to try to keep that from happening again.
And I think the biggest question and the biggest, thing, Mayo, Griffin, Storr, they got to be better than 4 from 15, right?
You got to start making some shots from long.
If they don't make shots, and that's why I say, like, I don't quite have the PTSD because I do ultimately think those 3 guys will do that. versus last year where you could see it and it's like, yeah, Nick Timberlake's not going to be able to.
Right. And again,
be
it was
good at
Diggy
this
Point,
level.
who's back in the starting lineup.
I'm so glad
he
they
was
have
one
him
that's making the shots, and that's not somebody that I think anybody thought would be the difference maker.
I am so glad they have him. Like, so, I mean, right now he can help them bridge it. And again, I just want to, before the sky falls, I want to remind everybody, this is a team that beat Duke. It's a team that beat Michigan State. It's a team that beat North Carolina. They could easily schedule cupcakes and roll into the Big 12 unbeaten and all those things, but Bill Self knows that's not what it's going to be. And I'll tell you right now, I hope, and I know he didn't play much against Missouri, if they can get Flory Badunga up to speed and developed to give them consistent minutes late, and that allows them to, rotate him in and maybe lessen I don't want to call it stamina. I don't know what it is. Like to infuse that athleticism down low, we'll call it that. I think that will make a huge difference for this team.
Be watching over the next few weeks as far as the minutes that he's getting, because Bill Self is predictable in the fact that if you see minutes for a youngster trending one way or the other, by the time you get to February and March, you should have a pretty good idea as far as what his usage will be in the games that actually matter. And so if we don't see him getting consistent minutes in January, probably not going to get it in February, definitely not going to get it in March and beyond. So now's the critical time for Badunga to take those steps to be able to find those consistent minutes. But yeah, I mean, like I'm not anywhere close to sky is falling mode with this.
No, I don't mean like the team's not going to be good.
Some scary flashbacks to the way this team struggled offensively.
That's what I'm talking about. That not that the sky is falling and this team's not going to be good. That's not what I mean. What I mean is the sky is falling and like, oh crap, the problems of last year didn't get solved. That's what I mean.
The sky was falling a year ago because you knew and everybody knew and Bill Self knew that there was going to be no way to generate offense. And so you just went into each game like throwing your hands up in the air saying, all right, let's cross our fingers and hope it magically happens. It's different this year where, you might be seeing some reminders of the way last year was, but at least there is the depth of talent you would think to be able to overcome some of that.
The only thing, and this is, again, we're spitballing because it's early December for me, that I would wonder is what are the common denominators from last year, and can anything change role wise for any of the big three? I don't think you want KJ Adams' role to change. They need him badly defensively. Same with DeJuan Harris. So then it goes to Dickinson for me, which is weird because he's going to be a Naismith candidate. Can anything, and that's why I look at Badunga a little bit, like, can there be any sort of role change where Badunga can give them something off the bench, some energy, keep Dickinson fresh in those obvious places where you might make a change where you don't need Dickinson's offense maybe as much? Can you get that? That's the thing I think that I'll probably watch the most here over the next few weeks as KU heads down the home stretch to Big 12 play. But look, it's early. It was a really, really bad week for KU. Bad week for KU. And I know it makes fans angrier because of the two teams that did it to them, in which rivalries exist greatly in one and probably in the other. But not what I thought we'd be doing here on a Monday after those two games. Certainly. 869-1240, the IHOP hotline's back open for you, by the way. It's brought to you by IHOP, official breakfast partner of Xbox. Come in and try our decadent, fully loaded French toast only at IHOP. We're going to come back. All right, we've hit the Chiefs. We've hit KU. Well, you need to get into this college football playoff a little bit. Juan Soto's contract. We'll try and get both of those in our next full segment here on Sports Daily. It's All Brockton Caster, Jad Chambers producing. Don't go away.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12. Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW. 12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here. Celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily here. Tommy, and we'll get to the shockers as we make our way through the week as well. I do want two topical things here, though, that have really popped up. One is the Juan Soto contract happens last night. It is massive. If you took it on a yearly average, it's about $50 million a year. And of course, it's more complicated than that. It'll take him till he's aged 39, I believe. Bobby Witt Jr. is on a deal. He signed an 11-year deal, so shorter, and he was younger when he signed it. It'll take him through 2037, so about 3 years shy of what Soto will be getting. But Tommy, they will be getting him at the point, if you take it on a per year average of about $30 million a year, they're going to be getting him for about 40% less than what Soto's getting in those years at a younger age. You see that deal with Soto, and Soto played it out right. Look, he waited until he got to true free agency, and Bobby Witt Jr. took his earlier. But if everything stays on the same trajectory, Bobby Witt Jr. 40% less than Juan Soto is just a massive, massive win for the Royals.
100%. And there's no way that on the open market, if Bobby Witt Jr. had made it to free agency, that the Royals would have been able to compete with these other teams that would have been vying for his services. So the fact that they got that done and locked him in, and that Bobby Witt Jr. was willing to go ahead and be committed to the franchise that drafted him for the period of time, again, I agree with you. I mean, it's a massive win. And the fact that, all things being equal, if you take a look at more than likely, you never know what'll happen injury-wise, but what their production will look like between Soto and Witt over the next 10 years, I would imagine that it'll be relatively similar. Like, we'll be talking about these two guys, don't you think? I mean, Aaron Judge is in the conversation as well. But it's and Shohei, obviously, depending on how much longer he's got in the league, but it's going to be long-term Soto and Witt, and just the discount, I guess, if you want to call it, that he'll get from the Royals. I mean, yeah, like that's a massive win for Kansas City.
If trajectories stay the same, right? Like if everything is predictable, discount is absolutely the right word. I mean, there's no question about it. Now, there was more risk in what the Royals did initially because they still had 4 more years of control on Bobby Witt Jr., right? 4 more years. But to make the commitment to the fan base to go get it done and lock him up another, 7 years after that, basically, you take a massive, massive risk if you're an organization like the Royals to do that kind of a long deal, right? Because it can hamstring them. You're talking about a $288 million deal for the Royals that goes until 2037. You're betting a lot there that Bobby Witt Jr. is the guy, but you're not betting nearly as much as the Mets just did.
100%. It also is a direct change. And we talked about this when the Royals agreed to the deal with Bobby Witt Jr. It's a massive shift and change in the Royals' philosophy from,
absolutely,
I don't know, the last 30 years.
And it doesn't, by the way, it doesn't make it right either. They could be wrong.
They probably won't be, but you never know.
Yeah, but it's a risk that you want to see them take if you're a fan, right? They could absolutely be wrong in their deal, but
think about
the cost of business.
Think about a guy like Carlos Beltran, for example, that came up through Kansas City. He was drafted, by them when it came through the minors, played in Wichita for a short period of time with the Wranglers back in the day. They ended up with the Royals, and it got to the point to where they couldn't afford him, or they decided they couldn't afford him. And he went off and, hit free agency and got paid a lot of money. And the Royals didn't compete for his services because it was kind of that, small market mentality. That's a shift. Another major one from, having John Sherman as the owner and being willing to open up his pocketbook. And clearly Bobby Witt Jr. was confident enough in John Sherman as the owner to say, you know what, it's not just about me getting paid, but it's about making sure that he's investing in other areas of this team. And, as long as that continues, then yeah, I totally understand why Bobby Witt Jr. decided to opt for that kind of security long-term.
Every young, Soto gambled and it's going to pay off for him, right?
Yeah.
So he would have done the same thing. And people laugh at guys like Ozzie Albies, right, who do these deals, and they're like, oh, you're crazy. Why would you do that? He made the right decision.
Yeah.
Salvador Perez did it on a much, much lower level when he was young. How would you walk away from that? You're one injury away from no contract, right? How could you walk away from that? And so Soto gambled, and it paid off in very different contracts. But boy, the second I saw that, I was like, man, Royals fans, if all things stay the way that we think they will, what a heck of a deal they got. All right. The other one that's topical, Tommy, is the CFP. I talked about this briefly with Wyatt. What did you make of it? When the dust settled on all this and Clemson did us the favor and the committee did us the other favor of making the absolute right decision with SMU over Alabama, I thought I would say, man, Indiana's really making me mad that they're in there because they didn't play anybody. Now, though, as we look at it, you had to put them in. So I think the committee got this right. Like this is, I would have been upset if Alabama got in over SMU. Now with all the 3 lost teams, I think SMU's got to be there the way they finished that game. SMU is rewarded for playing in a conference championship game, even that they lost because of the way that they played it, right? They weren't penalized for that, which what can't have happen. And so I think this is right.
Yeah, Sean McDonough was doing play-by-play in the ACC championship game, and he mentioned that the one thing that SMU could absolutely not afford was getting blown out in the ACC championship game. And so to their credit, I mean, their body language on the bench in the first half was bad. In fact, I flipped it off at halftime because I wanted to watch the Big Ten championship game. It was a much more competitive game. And SMU came back. They didn't get the win, but they came back. And had it been a larger margin, then yeah, I think that the committee would have been justified in at least their thought process and potentially putting Alabama in over SMU. I agree with you that they got it right, in my opinion. It's surprising to me. I just had in my mind, I was sure that I was going to wake up yesterday morning and see that the committee had put Alabama in over SMU. And the fact that they didn't do that gives me more faith in this committee long term, as they're putting together this 12-team playoff, because I do think that's the right choice.
I think it is too. So you get 3 SEC teams, you get 4 Big Ten teams, a couple of ACC teams, 1 Big 12 team, and then
I'm glad that Arizona State gets the bye. I mean that.
Yeah, look, thanks Clemson. Thank you to
sure.
Clemson for that. And then Boise gets in as the bye, and so a bunch of things have happened in year 1 that all the naysayers and haters said would never happen. I think you had the SEC only get 3 teams in. I bet you'd have lost a lot of money if you'd have bet that at the beginning of the year. Boise State has a good enough season to get a bye. Nobody would have thought that would happen.
Nobody would have thought that Boise State and Arizona State would both get byes.
And
Nobody would have ever thought that.
It was the right thing to do.
Yep.
And what you did was you rewarded a conference champion like Arizona State, right? Who deserved the bye because that's the way that it's designed. And Boise, whose only loss is to the number 1 team, and it was tight, you've rewarded them for the season that they've had to. It's all just right. It's not always going to be just right. Alabama fans are probably mad, but they can shove it, quite frankly, after what happened last year. And so, this is right. This is correct. If they continue to do this, and conspiracy theorists don't have any ammo to say, oh, well, they're just going to shove in all these. They didn't. They did not. And sorry, Big 12, they didn't earn more than 1 team. That's just the bottom line. The Big 12 did not earn more than 1 team this year.
Yeah. And, I think even, I don't know, it would have been tough if Iowa State had won the game. I don't think that you could have put both Iowa State and Arizona State, and that would have made things wild.
No, because Arizona State was already just like the 11.
And Arizona State, definitively beat Iowa State in the Big 12 championship game. So speaking of the Big 12, though, and I know we're going to get into it more as the week goes on, big time changes with the Jayhawks.
Yep.
One thing stays the same. Jalen Daniels comes back, but both the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator for Kansas are gone, which, I'm not overly surprised about. In fact, I thought that they would both move on. I thought Jeff Grimes would probably leave on his own. I thought Brian Borland would probably get let go. They called it a retirement, but it is what it is. Now you got Jalen Daniels back and 2 new coordinators going into next season.
And a whole lot of holes on the roster. Yeah, KU's football story is fascinating. We will get into that tomorrow. We are going to get into Shocker basketball, but a really, really, really nice win. East Tennessee's not bad at all. So a nice bounce back week, honestly, for the Shockers. So we will get into both of those. Those will be big topics we talk about tomorrow on the show. What a crazy dang day. A lot of fun, though, and you can go back and listen to any of it on the Odyssey app. We appreciate everybody that downloads the show, listens to it in podcast form. It's always an option for you. So thank you to those that do it. If you haven't done that, give it a try. Download the Odyssey app. Get in there. You'll see it right there for you. You can take it. Jad puts those in there for us, and it's super easy. You can go back and listen to Wyatt Thompson's interview. You can go back and listen to Drew McIntyre, WWE Superstars interview, or any of our discussions on the Chiefs or anything else. Do it and check it out. On the way out, real quick, HTO, let's give it away. Our last giveaway of the day. Just text the keyword T to the short code 20357. You can win a free iced tea, sweet or unsweet, a free coffee drink, iced or hot, one of each. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. That's T to 20357. Don't forget, you can also send BEAST to that short code for a chance at PBR tickets, and you can send the word SHINE to that code for your chance at a 4-pack of vouchers to Illuminations at Botanica. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up next.
Just because it's 4 o'clock doesn't mean your day's wrapping up. Get the facts first on 12 News at 4. It doesn't matter where you are. In the office, on the road, or on your couch, 12 News is everywhere, bringing you the story as it happens, catching you up on everything you need to know, and giving you your first look at the next 10 days from Storm Team 12.
Watch weekdays on KWCH and KSPW.
12 News at 4. Facts first.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
and inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Tommy, I'm inspired to work arse into the vocabulary after that Drew McIntyre interview.
I liked how he said that he was going to steal your wife too,
and mom, right? Didn't he have like almost like a steal your mom? God, it was good. I love that. I appreciate that so much. Get your arses down to Intrust Bank Arena if you don't have anything to do tonight and watch Raw. It'll be fun. All right, coming up tonight here. You got the Terry Nooner show, 6 to 7, followed by the Paul Mills show, Wichita State coaches shows from 7 to 8. We will join in progress. Bengals, Cowboys, Westwood Run coverage. We'll have it starting at 8 o'clock. That's it. Great show. Thanks, everybody. Find us on the podcast. For Tommy and Jad, I'm Jacob. We'll see you tomorrow.